Well, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be participating in this event. And Catherine, I want to thank you so much for your kind invitation. Really appreciate it. Today, I want to talk about the topic of growth. And what I mean by growth, I'm talking about the top line revenue growth. Because as Bracken Darrell, the former CEO of Logitech, told me, there is only growth or death. And in fact, if you want to be successful and beat your competition and create real sustainable shareholder value, you have to grow faster than the market in which you operate. And that's how you gain market share and create value. Let me start with a really stunning story, which happened on July 30th, 2016 in Simi Valley, California. My friend Luke Akins made history. He jumped out of an airplane from an altitude of 25,000 feet. Now, jumping from an airplane to me is not a big deal, and that's because I've done it over 1,000 times. I spent 20 hours of my life, yes, 20 hours, just falling at 120 miles per hour, just like Luke Akins on this picture. I am quite sure that some of you must think, this guy is nuts. Well, you're not alone. That's what my wife thinks too. But what's quite remarkable about Luke's skydive compared to all my jumps is that he did it without a parachute. And yes, I know what you're thinking. No, he did not die. He safely landed in a 100 by 100 foot net. Now you tell me who is nuts. It took him 2 years to carefully prepare for his jump that lasted 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I am sharing with you this amazing story because for many years, I have been pondering the following question. Why is it that some businesses achieve success and grow and expand year after year after year, while others remain stagnant, become irrelevant, or even die? And why is it that companies such as Apple, Nike, or Amazon have been able to grow so much over decades and became such iconic businesses? Well, it turns out it's not by accident. In fact, they all do the same thing. They follow the same principles, and they use the same playbook to grow. When I watched Luke Akins' remarkable skydive, I realized that what all those companies do in common to be successful and to grow can be captured in one single word: alignment. If you think about it, the one thing that made the difference between life and death for Luke Akins and contributed to his success is that he had to realize and maintain a perfect alignment between his body and the net. Any CEO, business leader, entrepreneur who want to grow their business and be successful face the exact same challenge. And that challenge is to create a perfect alignment between the business and the target market. The companies that are well aligned with their markets are the ones that are successful and grow and flourish. And just like Luke Akins, fine-tuning his body midair, those companies constantly adapt to market changes to preserve and sharpen and maintain their alignment. Those are the Apples, the Nikes, and the Amazons. So if alignment is so critical to be successful and to grow, then the question becomes, what do I do on Monday morning at 8 o'clock to align my business so that I can grow and be successful? What if I could give you a clear answer to that deceptively simple question? And quite surprisingly, the answer comes from the fascinating world of timepieces. Yes, indeed, companies are just like mechanical watches. They are complicated, they are sensitive, and they must be resilient in challenging environments. It is quite remarkable. A watch like this works flawlessly for decades. And I can tell you inside, the pieces move a lot. So for example, if you take this particular gear, it's called the balance wheel. It oscillates 28,800 times per hour. Now, if you take into account all the moving pieces, you can calculate that they move 1 billion times every 2 years. Yes, that's billion with a B. That's a heck of a lot of movement. There are two fundamental reasons why such a complex mechanism works so well over decades. One is the way the mechanical system is designed, and the other is because of those blue dots. And the management consulting firm that I run is actually called Blue Dots, and is coming precisely from that particular watch. Those blue dots are called jewel bearings. They were invented in 1704 by two Englishmen who received a patent for their brilliant discovery. They are made of synthetic sapphire or rubies. They are critical to create and maintain a perfect alignment of all the fine gears that are moving between the two plates. Without them, the watch would work for a while and then slow down and eventually stop ticking. A few years ago, I made a remarkable discovery that completely changed the way I'm thinking about any business. I realized that in business, just like in a mechanical watch, there are actually jewel bearings responsible for the perfect alignment between the business and its target market. Those are the dots. And in fact, there are 8 jewel bearings. They are organized in 4 pairs of 4 axes of alignment. And what is stunning is that those 4 axes of alignment are absolutely universal. They apply to a startup here in Silicon Valley, or a small company in Miami, or a Fortune 500 company headquartered in the heart of Manhattan. In fact, they apply to any business. And I'm going to tell you what they are. So let me share with you a made-up story that illustrates what those 4 axes of alignment, those 4 pairs of jewel bearings are between any business and its target market. Somewhere in Applewood, it's a small town located 17 miles west of Denver. A woman named Sylvia is suffering from a terrible migraine. She goes and sees a pharmacist who hands her a box of pills that he claims will relieve a stomachache. Surprised, the woman says, "I've got a headache, not a stomachache." Obviously, she's not going to buy the pills. This encounter illustrates the first axis of alignment, or A1, pain versus claim. The pain that the customer has and the claim that the business makes to address that particular pain have to be aligned. Now, it turns out that the pharmacist has the right pill for Sylvia, but he tells her in French, "Voilà le médicament qu'il vous faut et qui soulagera votre mal de tête en 10 minutes." Well, Sylvia has never been to France. She doesn't speak one single word of French, although she may have understood the word voilà. This is the second axis of alignment, or A2, perception versus message. The perception, which is the understanding of the claim of what the company offers, and the message, which is the expression of the claim, must be aligned. It turns out that the pharmacist knows about the right pill for Sylvia, and he tells her, "Well, there's a very effective medicine for your headache, but you have to pick it up in Denver." There is no way that Sylvia is going to drive 34 miles back and forth just to pick up the medicine, especially since she's standing in a pharmacy right now with her head pounding. Would any one of you get a product if you had to put so much effort to get it? That's the third axis of alignment, or A3, purchase versus sell. The way customers want to buy the product and the way the product is sold in the marketplace. Those 2 dots must be aligned. Now let's talk about the 4th axis of alignment, or A4. I had the good fortune to work at Apple, and during the last year I was there, I worked directly for Steve Jobs. And yes, that's how I lost my hair, in case you wondered. I learned a few really interesting and insightful lessons from Steve, but one of them particularly struck me, and it became the foundation of that 4th axis of alignment. And the lesson I learned is that there is one and only one business on this entire planet. There's no thousands or millions of businesses. Bank of America is in the exact same business as, any company, Starbucks, bank, Amex, any company. And that unique business is the manufacturing and delivery of delight. Let me say that again, this is so profound. We are all in the exact same business. We have to manufacture and we have to deliver delight to our customer. That's the business we're in. So Sylvia finally got the pill for a headache. She swallowed it, and after a while, her headache persisted, and she started to develop a rash on her skin, and she was dizzy. Well, obviously, that's not what she expected. She thought she would take the pill, and then after 20 minutes, her headache would be gone, and that she would go on with her daily routine. That's the fourth axis of alignment, and the alignment is between the expected delight and the offering, what's actually delivered to the customer. So if you want to grow your business and if you want to be successful and if you want to be your competitor, there is only one way. You must make sure that your business is perfectly aligned with your target market. That means that the claim you're making to your customer is aligned with their pain, that the message, which is the expression of your claim, is aligned with the perception and understanding of that claim, that the way you sell in the marketplace is aligned with the way your customers want to buy, and then finally, what you deliver, what you offer to your customer is aligned with the delight that your customer expects. Those are the four universal axes of alignment. And again, they apply to any business, regardless of its size, its location, or what it does. Now, there is a fifth axis of alignment, which is also important, which is the internal alignment. It is very clear that if the organization doesn't work well together, if they are not aligned, then the execution of the four axes of alignment, the four market-facing alignment, will not be successful and the business will not grow. So it's really 4 + 1 as opposed to just 4. Now that we understand that alignment is so critical, the question is, well, what does it mean? What does it mean that my claim and the customer's pain need to be aligned? And can I actually measure that coefficient of alignment from 0 to 100%? And the answer is yes. And let me give you an example. So if you look at the fourth axis of alignment, which is the expected delight and what the company delivers, if you measure the amount of energy that you put when you interact with a product or a service over time, it will look like this. So you put a lot of little energy at the beginning. Most of your energy is as you interact with the product or service, and then less as you phase out. And there's 6 universal steps that you take: the discovery, usage, the support, the maintenance, the upgrade, and then the disposal. Now, what we do is we look at the business and we say, well, which one of those 6 are really important, which one are less important? So I give you an example. If you sell a nuclear plant or liquid hydrogen, the last one, the disposal, is critical. It's really, really important. But if you're Starbucks and you take out all the trashes in all their stores, yeah, it's an inconvenience, but it's not, it's not the end of the company necessarily. So we put a weight from 0 to 1, depending on how important it is. And in the case of a nuclear plant or liquid hydrogen, the weight is 1. In the case of Starbucks, it may be 0.2. And then we do surveys. We talk to customers specifically on each of those 6 points. And we say, how happy are you from 1 to 10? So if you have a BMW and I just want to talk about the maintenance program of BMW, from 1 to 10, how happy are you? And if we speak to enough customers and if they are randomly selected, we then multiply the answers by the weights. And then we measure a coefficient like this, which we call the delightfulness coefficient. So in this particular example, which is one of our clients, the coefficient is 69. So they're pretty happy, but there's room for improvement. So what we do at Blue Dots is then we've actually built a collection of tools that is our proprietary IP, and how we do it. It's very data-driven, very analytical. And we can measure those coefficients of alignment along the 5 axes, the 4 + 1 axis from 0 to 100%. And then we come up with something like this, like the spider web. So in this particular case, as you can see, the company is not that well aligned on the 4th axis, the expected delight versus what they deliver at 57%. And there is definitely things they need to do to rectify that misalignment. And then on the right side, you can see the internal alignment, which is about 70%, and that was pretty good. So then we combine all those coefficients and we calculate a business alignment score. And this is another example of one of our clients where the business alignment score was 53, not great. And then we compare that business alignment score to the benchmark. And the benchmark is a collection of companies that are about the same size and are in the same space. So we can compare apples to apples. And as you can see, this particular company is definitely very misaligned internally. And then you can also look at the highest business alignment score of 86. And then we also realize that many of our companies we help don't optimize pricing. And pricing is a critical component of the claim. In fact, a claim cannot exist without pricing. So then once we understand the misalignments, we measure them, we can actually start to build a growth playbook. And the growth playbook has typically those chapters. We understand the goal, we understand why they need to be aligned because of the misalignments. We look at the strategy, the plan, the resources it's going to take, the returns and risk. And then finally, we want to make sure there's a closed loop so they can measure progress and rectify it if they are not tracking against the plan. So in summary, if you want to grow your business and be successful, there is one and only one way. You need to make absolutely sure that your business is perfectly aligned with your target market. And that means that the claim you're making to your customer is aligned with their pain. It means your message is aligned with the perception and understanding of what you have to offer. It means that the way you sell in the marketplace is aligned with the way they want to buy. And finally, and as importantly, it means that what you deliver to them is aligned with the delight that they expected. Remember, at the end of the day, it is not just about connecting the dots. It is all about aligning the dots, because alignment is the key to success, as Luke Akin so brilliantly demonstrated to us back on that hot summer day in 2016.
Jumpers are away, jumpers are
They're
away.
off.
Okay.
Now he's practicing the flip. That's how he'll have to land. He'll have to land on his back. At 18,000 feet, the oxygen mask will come off. That will be from his cousin, Andy Farrington, who will be closest to him. There goes the oxygen mask. Now at 12,000 feet, he'll hear a beep in his helmet. That will tell him he's halfway home. Momentarily, we'll see his jump team pull their chutes, and that means Luke is all alone for the rest of the way. At 6,000 feet, he'll get another beep in his helmet. There goes the chutes. Luke is on his own. And the crowd on the ground looking up, they have a visual on him right now. He's in! And he's kicking and moving. From here, it looked perfect. You've just witnessed history being made. Absolutely amazing. Now we want to wait for our medical staff to check him out and give us the official okay. The trap is being lowered. This looks like a win all the way. The rest of his team hits the floor. History made as he hugs his wife.
Now, this is what I call success. Remember, it's not just about connecting the dots. It's all about aligning the dots. Alignment, alignment, alignment. Thank you very much. Oh, one more thing. I know that building a business is really hard. I've been a CEO and I've been an entrepreneur. And it takes a lot of energy and passion, and there's a lot of ups and downs. And many nights it's hard to sleep. It's hard to sleep, then what do? Well, of course, you can take medicine, which works, but there is a much, much better way. You can read my dots, you can read my book, Aligning the Dots, and that will put you to sleep very quickly, and it's a lot cheaper than taking medicine, and there is no risk of addiction. And of course, also, you can watch my TED Talk, which I delivered less than a year ago. And I want to thank you again so very much, and it's been a pleasure to be with you this morning. Thank you.